I am starting to share my screen. I hope you guys can see. I made this PPT especially for my viewers, and I'm not sure how much of importance this holds for you, but I do know that it will be of immense importance to your loved ones, to your elderly individuals who you care for, and to um, anyone, maybe to your neighbors, maybe to your friends, maybe anyone out there who is feeling a bit low or has been under the weather for some time. So you can feel free to share this video to them because this is going to be a fun video and a really insightful video, I guess. So, yeah. All right, so welcome to the session. Firstly, this is what I'm going to talk about today is a talk therapy itself. Yes, it's a talk therapy. Uh, it's really, really important to talk, not just to our own self, but to others at times. Especially if you are an introvert who doesn't like to talk about your feelings to others, it can seem a bit of being seen or being heard or something like extrovert kind of thing, which is entirely opposite. So, today we are going to hop on to this journey where talk therapy is going to do wonders. It's going to help you heal, it's going to help you grow. How this works is very different. The way it works, the way it brings the emotions inside you, and the way you leave out after talking your heart out is immensely a great opportunity to let yourself know about your own self, meaning like it creates your self awareness, your way to know yourself better. So we do need people. And so you can consider this with almost anyone when you're feeling low at times. So it's like it's something that you can get yourself started with. It's a very basic thing. So my goal today is to have this video reach out to anyone out there who is experiencing depression, anxiety, and variety of emotions just because they are going through some transitions in life or maybe some serious problems where they are having hard time solving the problems. So what is talk therapy? Talk therapy is about addressing emotions. We always tend to think that it is not right to talk about our difficulties. And so this prevents us from having the stress to get out in the public. When the stress happens, it goes on to levels we do not know. It builds on and progresses to have um, immense difficulties. There can be detrimental effects. It can have an effect on your relationships. And so it's really, really important. At times, it can be a very, very great therapy provided the one you're talking to is good enough to listen, is good enough to understand, is good enough to encourage you to get those emotions out. So typically, these sessions are going to be for about 45 to 30 minutes or whatever. Do not go in this sense of how it's going to go. You're simply going to talk, and you don't need a particular valid reason for that to happen. Just go if you want to feel good about this. It's really, really a more effective way to communicate. So there is this important study where it says that communication activates the neural networks in the brain, and the rewiring process, the process where you enhance your positive habits, positive thinking, and again feed the same actions day after day. You're going into the situation where you're creating a positive reinforcement. And yes, manifestations, taking deep breaths and affirmations uh, work the best way, as you can imagine. So do not go, do not think of this as a timed session. It can vary depending on how well you are um, able to let your emotions and how well the opposite person is able to listen to you. So the frequencies of how many times you might want to have these therapies varies. And it depends on how you feel about it. Moving on to this particular slide where I talked about my lifetimes. You know, I remember these episodic memories in my mind where I relate with having my first bike and having the first dog and so forth. Of course, these are memories that we would cherish for life. But then we do not know when the changes are going to happen. There can be so many changes, like life can happen. You may become a parent, you may become someone you have not imagined about to being like that particular person. So it's about idealization. What would you have yourself rather than being so and so person? How would you see yourself in the process of changes? We do not know how changes can change our own well-being. So in order to know when this happens, we want to draw a line on when to seek talk therapy. Most importantly, it's when you are overwhelmed with emotions. For example, you are switching from a full-time job, um, I mean, the part-time job to a full-time job. That can be overwhelming. Or if you don't have a job where you the job market is getting down and you all you need is you need to earn. So at those times it can be very, very frustrating. And even when you want to head on to your uh, journey on being uh, this person, it can seem a bit challenging. Like if you want to be someone in your life, like a goal of becoming a doctor, a goal of becoming a business analyst, and you are not there yet, it would feel overwhelming. And personally, I think we all need coping mechanisms in life. And of course, talking therapy is one of those. It not only helps you grow and know yourself better, it will also enhance your communication, uh, which is why we encourage this therapy. Imagine if you're able to talk, communicate, and at the same time have someone around you to listen to you. You can do wonders because the support you get is enough to get you to have a quality of life that you would want. So always, always try and talk to your friends. Try and talk to anyone out there, no matter what. This is another slide that I have included because recently I came across one of my neighbor who just passed away. Then I went on to find out what happened to this lady. Um, but I came to know that she passed. I know it's a pretty sad story I'm sharing with you guys, but the most sad story that really hit me is when the son was talking about how his mom went through struggles and how she had dementia. And so um, he felt really, really relieved. And I could feel that relief. But yes, that is understandable because we don't know who is going through what kind of phases. However, having this tag of dementia is was a bit heavy to me, and that sounded a bit different because um, I communicated with this lady. She was really sweet. She used to greet me. She used to always remember me, and I found it a bit weird about this particular news. So all I want to get on to is to tell you that there are so many myths in the society as to one having dementia or one. These are like the social stigmas that usually circulate across. But um, scientifically, we do not really say one as having dementia when they are able to live, when they are able to carry out their daily activities, and when they are able to recognize people, wave at people, when they are able to greet people. So it was really, really heavy feeling for me to have to hear that particular news because the lady was absolutely fine. Um, Healthy, and she led a good quality of life, according to my opinion. So we cannot come to the judgments, or we cannot name one as having so and so. Uh, I know there is a lot of research, a lot of publications that are easily accessible to everyone out there, but there are criterias and definitions added to this. And myth is not having these people around in the community. Unfortunately, they end up living an isolated life, and it's very, very sad. So, when you are seeking for talking therapy or any kind of help, it is definitely not a sign of weakness. It means you are wanting to grow, you're wanting to empower others because you are curious. You are having this ability to calm down yourself by simply talking to others. And you know that this is going to help you. And so asking someone something is not weakness. It's not your weakness, is what I would want to stress upon. And then there are people who will love to talk about depression. So have a very uh, open mind to discussing these issues. And of course, we have our mental health professionals who are available where you can consider having talking therapies. So we always tend to think that this is something very important to those dealing with issues like anxiety, depression, and other mental illnesses. However, this is not where we set the line to. It goes way beyond, meaning it's generalized. Even anyone out there who is um, seeking help with anything that is um, gone out of expectations or that is not happening in their favor, anyone can reach out. And so your relationships will get better once you start talking to your partners, to your potential family members. It not just helps you to get rid of those emotions, but you also it helps others to understand you better. So I feel like talking therapy is something that is very important to the elderly individuals who are leading a pretty isolated life, or who are grieving, or who are going through a loss of something. How, but what my point here is, it's for everyone, not just for them. Because we, as human beings, need to realize that we all have problems. And we can't say that one is happy or one is sad, but just by our own judgments. We need clear cut associations to make these assumptions at first place. And then we just do not want to stop there. We want to go further and solidify our assumptions as to how the person is feeling. So it's always a good habit to ask someone on how they're doing. And that is what is like a great thing to start your day off. And of course, we all do that, which is what is really a nice way to start off the day. And then finally, talking therapy is where you can support people, you can see them grow, you can see them have this strength of sharing inner aspects, inner feelings. Um, and it's only going to have a positive outlook, meaning you you can think about it as a negative aspect because you are just telling everything that's been happening, but then think of the outcome, how you're going to feel after having to talk so much. It's going to be positive. So once if it's positive, you can directly feed in to your brain, and your brain would want to do this more and more. So that's how it works. And trust me, it's got a lot of uh, individuals gain optimistic values towards life. So on the closing side, I only have few key points to that I would like you guys to take from this PPT. Uh, is that firstly, talking therapy is very healthy option because you're going to know yourself better, and this will help you build on your relationships. Um, it will nourish the relationships, not just with your own self, but also to anyone who you're going to spend your life with. And do not wait until it goes overwhelmed. Like there can be several ways where you can feel overwhelmed, but then it's about how you much of um, aspects you're able to carry on, what kind of responsibilities you're dealing with. If it is about crisis where you're l- financially having problem, relationship wise not doing well, and you are going through major life transitions, then in that case this is a very good start off. It it is not just for anyone, it can be for any other person, meaning anyone who you know. It's simply going to do wonders. You're coming out with courage, resilience. Okay. However, the important note here is to have your therapist know about this. It's about establishing the trust. the relationships. And that's what is the mental health professionals go through. They navigate through all the emotional trauma that you've had, and then they formulate, assess the situation depending on what is good for you. So, when it comes to the assessments, we have several therapies depending on the human needs. Behavioral therapy is one where we are focusing on behaviors. For example, when you're going on to social parties or when you're being in the conversations, if you have any behavioral issues, we can target that, see how you're reacting to that, and then come up with what are the ways to have yourself present well. Okay, it can be a simple presentation, whether you're up for a meeting or whether you are uh, in some other situation. Behavioral therapy can just do as much as any other therapy. So, this is not something that is given by the healthcare professionals or mental health care individuals. Mm, It's also within you because you know yourself better. And how would you know? It's again coming down to this talking therapy where you can just talk with your own self. And because manifestations work this way. And then we have cognitive behavioral therapy, where we are focusing on the thought processing, the perception of the individuals, and then see how you react to that. If it is negative, you just want to avoid, like, and then once, if it's positive, you may want to feed to your brain by doing the same behavior, which then would result in reinforcement. And of course, this all should have a positive outlook on your entire personality. And then we have humanistic therapy, where you're just focusing on healing yourself uh, through tarot card readings, or it can be through um, the people around you, or by simple aromatherapy. Or maybe you can just have a great diet on that day and see how you feel about that. So, meaning it can come up as a personal achievement. And not every achievement is something that'll be rewarded for. You can literally feel like it is a reward. Reward system can not just be to the audience, it can be to your own self. Write down what works for you. And if you have completed your checklist, then it is something where you can reward yourself by just watching a favorite movie or binging or whatever. So, meaning you are creating your authentic self where you do not want others to stop you. So, you do need these kind of behaviors at the same time, because we do not want to just be one into one particular way. And if this is something that is enhancing you or empowering you in a positive way, then you should do this for oftentimes um, in the week. Yeah, it can be anything. And then finally, we have this psychodynamic therapy and holistic therapy. Now, psychodynamic therapy is something that is going into being with professionals as such, because here you have the preformed thoughts, meaning brain is processing these thoughts in relation to visual cues or auditory cues, but you do not know why it's processing. So you can talk it out and then uh, have the professional talk about it as well, because it's something to do with your past. Um, so, and the thoughts, as you can see here, is going to be unconscious. It can happen anywhere, anytime, uh, out of blue. So, this is something that we usually target for patients with post-traumatic stress disorder, where they are very, very traumatized with particular aspects, and then they don't have incentives to move forward in life, where they see nothing but uh, the past experiences. So it does take a while to get rid of the trauma, of course, but in this one, it's going to be way too excessive emotions to deal with. So this is something to be dealt with a mental health care professional. So my important um, another essential point is do not think of everything being unhealthy. You do know that there are things that are good for you, and stick to your good things, because that is what makes you feel good. Um, so that's all for now. I hope um, it was informative, and please share this with your loved ones. I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much for viewing my video today. I hope to make many other videos like this, provided you support me. All right. Bye bye and take care.